Hey, friend, thanks for hanging out with me and learning more about deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA, that's right. If you're new here, my name is Lane Kennedy. I'm a functional nutritionist, and I focus on using your DNA to find results because these days you deserve to know exactly what's going on with you. There's no one else like you, right? Not your husband, not your sister, not your parents. Nobody's like you. And so when a doctor prescribes medicine for everybody and they blanket that onto you and you don't get the results you want, you're like, why am I not getting better? It's because your deoxyribonucleic acid is you. It's designed just for you. You need a protocol that works for you. So today I'm going to go behind the curtain and share what it would be like to work with me. It's really, really simple. And the whole process takes about 6 weeks. And then there's different ways that we can work together, obviously, but it takes about 4 to 5 weeks to actually get the report. And I'm going to show you that report, but we would order it. We would have a consult. We would go through some things, and then we would start doing some work. But before we go any further, I'm going to show you what a report is like. Is that cool with you? I think that would be cool. And before you do that, you'll get your little kit. You'll take your swab in your cheek. There's no blood, no worries. We'll send that off to the lab, and then you're going to get this report. I'm going to show it to you right now. Let's go. So this is your report. It's really colorful. There's a lot in here. Let me start here. And the beautiful thing about this report is that, like I said, it's colorful. It allows us to look at what are the things that you need to do and what things you need to change. It also lets me look at very specific genes, right? So you could say, Lane, I'm worried, my mother had a heart attack, and I could go in and really hone in on some specific genes for you. There's a gene summary here on what are the genes that are really active and what are not. What are the ones that are going to have some impact for your future self? Because we're really talking about now and future self. The other thing that's really, really important here is that this is a pathway-based test. Good news for you is I'm a functional nutritionist, so I look at the pathways of the body. That is how I work. I use the pathways. So this is a really good fit. And again, if you said to me, Lane, I just want to deal with my weight and I have these mood issues, and I would say, oh my God, that's so great. Let's go look at the system, mood and behavior. You have some genes that are really affecting that, and I have some solutions for you. The other thing that's in here are a lot of pictures, and you have a lot of information to read about you. It's all about you, which is so brilliant. You'll be getting this report, and we'll, of course, have a conversation about it, and we'll make a plan. Now, I used to just say, okay, that's it. Great, go off and do your thing. And my clients were like, wait, there's so much information here. So good news for you is that I've learned from working with clients and from little tiny mistake that I need to go more with my clients. So now what I've done is I've created a story. And let me show that to you. Okay, so here is the gene story that I make. It's you. Remember, this is all about you. When we go through here and I go through your results and I take a really deep dive. But remember, I said we're going to meet during that processing time. We're going to take a deep dive into what are 3 things that you specifically want to know about you, right? So in this example, it was mood regulation, diet recommendations, and just feeling better overall. So then I go into the report and I find very specific things that you may not even be associating with the mood, with the overall health. So in this particular example here, I'm able to look at this gene, the DAO gene, which is really intense for somebody who could have behavior stuff going on because of a histamine overload. Now, if the histamine overload is way up, and they have a methylation cycle that's way up, and they have a detoxification load that's way up, they're going to be miserable. So how are we going to fix that? Well, in this particular instance, I said, you know what, you have to change your diet to a low histamine diet, which is actually a really good diet, but it was one of the things, and who would even think about that? You don't think about that unless you have evidence right here that says this is how you're operating and your results from not eating a histamine-free diet. you're just eating chocolate and coffee, and you're just eating, sardines, and you're just eating like all kinds of stuff, leftovers. And then I tell you, we're going to have to change this histamine. And then suddenly you're like, oh, I just lost 10 pounds. Oh, and I feel better. Oh, and I don't have headaches anymore. And oh, right. This is what happens when we look at your DNA and I create the story from you. So in here, I give you some recipes. I also share how to make things better for yourself. That is pretty cool because, again, remember, you are unique. It's you. And we want to take care of you and only you. That's what this story does. So there's a couple of ways to work with me, and you can find all that information here on the website. I hope this is helpful. DNA is a game changer once you start understanding your genes, and everybody is unique. I would love to work with you. Let me know how I can help you. And I hope to meet you very, very soon, my friend. Thanks for hanging out with me.